Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight Season 18, Episode 6 called Don't Forget About Karla. Before I get started with this review, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it and I thank you in advance. So let's get started. First I want to say this show is too long. I wish they'd please go back to an hour and a half. In fact, be considerate and just go for an hour. But a lot didn't happen. I know it's their honeymoons and you would think there's love or excitement and fun, but it was kind of more mellow. I mean, it's fine, but to watch it was kind of boring, but I'm happy it was mellow. Let's talk about the first couple, and the first couple is Karla and Juan. Now, Karla seems out of it a little bit, and we find out why. She has been absorbing everyone's energy, and it's not high energy. So if we were to read in between the lines there, who's getting on Karla's nerves? I wonder if it's her husband a little bit. But is there anybody else? Interesting. We see that Juan and David hung out a little bit at the spa. Nothing says a bromance like two guys hanging at the spa together when their wives are nearby. And Juan told Karla about his outing with David. He had a really good time. And he said when he was out with David, he just casually told her, I forgot all about you. Oh no. Oh no. Those are fighting words. So Karla took that in. She didn't seem to say anything at the moment, but that pissed her off. So she's spiteful. She took a bag of his when he had to use another bag. He was calling her passive aggressive, that if she just would have told him, he would have known what she said, what he said to her that wasn't the most pleasant thing to say. He later did say that. He said, if you would just point that out to me, he goes, now reliving it in his head, he can see how that came off harsh. And he says, sometimes guys, we don't know this. Please tell us. So maybe that's a learning lesson for both of them. I know I can be passive aggressive. I've always been in the past, but lately I have been working on myself and I'm more direct. And I like the new me. So a little tidbit about me. So they went underwater, a photo shoot. That was underwater. And I liked that idea. It looked exotic and fun. And when you got two gorgeous people, it makes it all the better. The photos are going to come out. But Karla had a little bit of an attitude there because Juan had still not had apologized to her. So she was kind of acting out. Of course, he didn't know anything was wrong or what he did exactly. He didn't realize he was the problem. But I love the idea of an underwater photo shoot. Oh, I like that. Now, when they did this in this little pond, at first you see like the photographer and maybe the setup guy and Juan and Karla. And then when the camera kind of panned up a little bit, sometimes you could see there's a whole bunch of people there. So that's kind of uncomfortable when you realize how many people are there. To me, I was just thinking, oh, maybe there's just one camera guy, but there was a lot of people there watching them do that. Later, they talked about the bathroom situation, and Karla brought it up, it looked like, and she told him that he's going to have to disappear when she goes to the bathroom. He said, okay, I'll go to the gym. I just love these new relationships and their potty talk. It is an important subject. I used to always say, you have to go to the gas station. I'm not having none of that here. Funny. Okay. That is it on Karla and Juan. Let's talk about Camille and Thomas. They went salsa dancing. There's always a salsa lesson in every season, it seems. Though I've always wanted to have a salsa lesson. It's just funny. I guess it's limited things that they can do with all those people. Camille was in a confessional and she says Thomas's dancing is unique. I thought he did okay. I thought from what I saw, from what they showed, he did okay. But she's trying to crack him on him already. And, I like Thomas. I really like him. Give him a chance because his little personality is coming out. He was joking about how he was trying to change his drawers in front of the window and not face her when he was changing his clothes. But he noticed that people were watching and he heard applause. He was just having a little jokey joke. It's a cute humor. I like that about him. He's a sweet guy. In what's her name? In Camille's little confessional, she mentioned that she's used to urban guys, more of the R&B swag, and not suburban guys like Thomas. So that's kind of in the back of her mind what he's not, which she's used to and what he's not. He is a biracial guy who was raised by, I think, a white adopted mom. And I think that dad might have been black. I'm not really sure on that now. So he didn't really get the black culture. And he mentioned that in his confessionals that he knows that she's looking for a bit more of that culture of a guy, that just the blackness. She's looking for a blackety black guy, and he barely appears to be black. And he said growing up, he was told he wasn't black enough, which hurt his feelings. They just have a cultural difference. They're both mixed people. They're both biracial. And she's sorry that he went through that. That never happened to her. But Thomas says he's going to just be himself. He's not going to try to impress anybody. And he seems to really like Camille. He says he's comfortable with the ring on his finger. I think he's trying to tell her that he likes her. He said he's oddly comfortable with her. Maybe, I don't know if he ever dated black girls before. And maybe if he didn't, and now he sees it being in her company and her presence, and plus she's nice to him, that he really likes it. So I want to get to know more about him, his dating history. Who was this girl you dated? How many years ago was it? For a while. And who was she? Was she black? Was it different? I would just love to hear his side of things. He's really trying to be romantic. He had her stay outside the hotel room while he went in, and he put rose petals all over the bed and put some shaped into a heart. He really thought he was going to get nookie because she mentioned this lingerie item that she was going to wear and might show up during the honeymoon. This was the last night of the honeymoon. So he's thinking, oh, it's on. And so she came out of the bathroom with the t-shirt. And she just said, she's just not comfortable just yet. She thought she would get there. But I think the fact that he doesn't have that black swag, that BDE energy he's not bringing, and she's not open for business until she gets that. Anyway, I think they're just going to have to take their time. But she thinks that Thomas might be a different type of guy or a different type of love that she didn't know she needed. And you might be right. Let him just be nice to you. I don't know. I think they'll get there. When it's all said and done, you're going to want a man who cares for you, who will protect you, who will, provide for you, who will be there with you, who will be kind to you. And not that you won't get that elsewhere in what you had in the past, but it wasn't working out for you. So try a little tenderness. Good luck to them. Let's see. They had their little bathroom talk too about going to the bathroom, doing your business. And she's asking him if she's going to need to put up caution tape. I love that. goodness. Just the things that you don't think to mention, especially at Married at First Sight. You just think, I want to have a husband. I want to meet him at the altar. I want him to be nice looking. But you don't think about those things about, their bathroom breaks and stuff like that. Okay, so that's all about enough about them, I guess. So the next couple is Madison and Alan. They had some type of jungle bath, and they had an instructor that went over things. I guess this person can sense certain things, and she sensed that Alan is too much of a thinker and he's in his head too much, and that's not good for your body. And she noticed that Madison needs to connect more, which is true. She really, I don't know if this thing is real, but she really pointed out what these people need to connect more. While on the honeymoon, Alan learned that he had a very good friend who passed away, which is really sad. And Madison seems to be somewhat of a support system for him, or at least they had a conversation about it, and she said she'd be there for whatever he needed. They got to their shared apartment, and she sat down with Alan, and she told him a couple of things that were bothering her, and she wants to see him go to the gym more. She wants him to look good for her physically, and she doesn't really care for the loud outfits. She wants him to look his best for her as she will for him. And I guess he took it all in stride. He did try to explain he does some type of exercising, but she wants to see it more. On their first night in their shared apartment, she left him and went out to happy hour with friends, I guess, for at least 3 hours, or 3 hours later, he's in the confessional talking about it. That wasn't cool to do, especially on your first night back from your honeymoon. Not cool at all. Next couple is MM and Kechi. They had drinks on their hotel balcony, and MM was toasting to intimacy. They talked about having kids. He said he left somebody because they didn't want kids, but they didn't seem like they wanted kids. It wasn't like a big deal. She said she's open to having kids, and he thinks he's going to have a girl. Yeah, he does seem like a girl dad, and you don't seem like a boy dad. Now, they came in one evening. I guess they had turn down service, and there were some honey packs left on their beds. I'm not sure what the honey packs do. He said he wasn't going to eat his, and she ate hers, whatever it was, the honey pack. And then they got into bed. She was toasting to intimacy. I think she wants to be intimate with him. He talks a lot. He just does a lot of talking. But when it comes to being alone with her, it ain't that kind of party. They were getting ready for bed. He said, "Oh, do me a favor and hit that light switch." And then he curled up on the very end of the bed, away from her. She got all behind him and rubbing up against him. And he's like, "Oh, you can't be doing that. My mother's watching." So when she's not watching and those cameras are gone, what is he doing? I can't wait for the truth to come out. Him not wanting to be intimate is a red flag. Beware. Okay, the last couple is Michelle and David. Michelle wants to keep it casual. She's trying to be positive. She says they're slowly getting to know each other. She says she's trying to have fun. She realizes she has not had fun at all on her honeymoon. So she goes paddleboarding with David. He fell in the water a couple times, it showed. And I thought he did that on purpose. And I'm thinking he did that to, I guess, maybe make her laugh, to make her comfortable. I don't think he should have done that. Just stay on it if you can stay on it. But yeah, I know when people do that, they fall in the water and act like they're the big goof. But anyway, I'm glad that she, gave that a chance. They also went on a sushi date, which they prepared the sushi themselves. David doesn't like sushi. She does. She likes fine dining, and she did it perfectly. He did it too, and he ate this. He did all these things because this is something she was enjoying. During their sushi date, in a roundabout way, they were talking, and she noticed that he was cussing, and in a in a roundabout way, she kind of told him to stop. And he goes, yeah, those are the kind of things, I should work on. And yeah, get the lay of the land. If they don't feel it, you just don't know how a person feels. I wonder why people, I mean, you're going to be yourself, but people don't want to hear all that cussing all the time. So I'm glad that she's able to voice her wants, desires, likes, dislikes. I hope she allows that in him, and not take offense to anything, because she just seems like she would. While they were still in the honeymoon, they were talking about, their schedules, and he'll get in late and him getting in the bed at a certain time. She stopped him right there. She said, I'm not ready to share a bed with you just yet. I'm not comfortable. Later, David said that, that his patience is wearing thin. But you can't expect people to be in bed with you. They don't even aim. That's something you kind of sometimes have to ease into, especially when they're not on the same page. They did have a group dinner. At the group dinner, Michelle told the group that her and David are getting along better. Someone noticed them walking and talking, and that they were giggling. I think it was Karla. So those are good signs, but they're not there yet. Camille shared with the group that Thomas and her have the same core values. But how do you tell the group that you're looking for a real black guy? that was a problem that they were having. Thomas said they have different shades of personality. Yeah, she's black and he's white. In fact, she's looking for a blackity black guy. And how do you suppress all that, to code switch in your relationship? Anyway, Madison told the group that she's learning to accept Alan, which is great. Juan says that he has to reprogram himself. While he's on vacation, he's he's giddy, he's kitty, and he likes to have fun. But when he's at home, he's a sergeant. But he's looking forward to enjoying life with Karla. Ikechi said something, probably something performative. He says he doesn't want to get physical yet. That I don't know why he's telling the group that. He's putting everybody on notice that he ain't. It's just kind of his way of saying he's not attracted to her. I don't know. He just gives mixed signals to me. And we learned that MM has never lived with a man. I must say I like MM a lot more. While she was on her honeymoon, she wasn't as goofy. She seemed more normal than we had seen in the past. When she was getting married, I think maybe she's trying to keep her energy up, and playing to the cameras way too much. She calmed down. Maybe she's gotten used to the cameras, and I like her a lot better. They talked about concerns when they get back home. Alan says he coughs a lot, and he realizes that can get on some people's nerves. So he's basically talking about phlegm at the table. This was a dinner that they were having. David realized that him and Michelle, will need a lot more of their own space. In the last moments of their honeymoon at the resorts, they all had a drink together. And I noticed that they took their airline from Cancun to Chicago. I noticed that it was Southwest. And that's a long ride to ride Southwest on. Lifetime couldn't do better than that. Wow, we see David on the plane, and we see his wife is behind him. They both wanted window seats, so they didn't sit on the same aisle together. More separations. And this is basically the whole show. So it was boring for 2 hours. That's all we have. It was just nothing. Yeah, that is it for now. Hopefully they can spice, I don't know, just spice things up, or let's be more interesting. Just find a little bit more, something more entertaining to show us for 2 hours. Just something. It was not much there. And they were on their honeymoon, so I don't know, we'll see. But thank you for staying with me to the end. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you in advance, but I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.